are just constant, absolute terror. And I can't explain how intense, how strong, how all-encompassing that terror is. Unless you do this, you're gonna get killed. You're gonna die.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Watchers Brawl. We have some amazing games for you lined up. Well, one amazing game. We had one earlier this evening, and now we're moving on to our second game of the night. It's going to be Gunther's Goons versus Church of xQc. Joining me this evening on this cast is Sci-Fi. Sci-Fi, how are you doing?
I'm great, and it's great to finally be casting with you, Neri.
Yeah, it's been a long time coming. Before we jump into this match, we do have a short little interview with one of the guys from Gunther's Goons, and that is Josh. Josh, how are you doing this evening?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good.
Nice, glad to hear it. So we're just going to ask you a couple of questions about your upcoming game. Let's start up with, how have the last few games gone for you guys?
Games have been pretty good. We won our last one 2-1. We kind of got destroyed on King's Row, but we realized some of our mistakes and we tried to fix them for this one.
All right, so you guys are noticing your mistakes. You're noticing what to work on. Have you seen anything in particular that you feel you've needed to work on since then?
Yeah, I'm noticeably our main tank position was kind of weak, so we've actually rotated the player who's going to be on the main tank position, and now we have someone else filling it.
All right, cool. And that doesn't create any sort of synergistic issues now that you've got somebody that wasn't previously a main tank and now you've got your main tank playing something else. How have you managed to balance that in your team?
Well, in terms of synergy, we've all been friends for years. We didn't meet through Overwatch, we met in real life. So I think a lot of that pre-existing synergy just helps us in-game as well. So we're pretty good with it.
Nice. And I would gather that's a strength that you guys have drawn on in all of your games. What other strengths have you guys really got going for you that you feel has really pushed you and helped you keep going?
One of our strengths, I'd say definitely, is probably BMO. He's like our star DPS player. He's pretty good, definitely the highest SR in the team. If we enable him, we should be able to do a lot better than we would otherwise.
Awesome, man. And tell me, what are you looking for in this game? What are you expecting to happen this evening?
I'm expecting to fight a lot of goats and potentially dive, and hopefully beat goats and potentially dive.
Nice. I really like that kind of mentality. And your lineup for this evening, is it your standard roster or have there been any last minute changes?
Like I said, with the whole main tank situation, we kind of switched out players, but the roster we're going with, I feel pretty confident in. This is like probably our strongest roster.
Cool, man. I'm really excited to see you guys. Obviously, this is my first time getting involved in the Watchers Brawl, and you guys are the first team that I'm going to be casting, so I'm expecting some big things. No pressure.
I will try not to crumble.
Do you know anything about the team you're playing against this evening?
Yeah, they have a better name than us, which kind of sucks. But also, I watched a bit of them. They seemed like they knew what they were doing a lot on Hanamura, but as well with King's Row. But it looked like the team they were fighting didn't really know how to counter them in terms of composition until it was too late. And hopefully we can avoid that and counter them early on and get the win.
Nice. So you're feeling confident going into this?
I'm feeling fairly confident.
Right, glad to hear it. Well, I think that being said, we'll get ready to jump straight into this map. Josh, thank you so much for joining us and good luck.
Thanks for having me.
All right, well, getting ready for these games, I'm pretty excited. Got a little bit of information here about the Gunther's Goons, and apparently they were, as Josh mentioned earlier, a small group of friends, and they formed after deciding to join a tournament scene after having just kind of queued together in competitive for a while. And I really love that. You know, they are people that have played together, that have got a good relationship going, and they're using that to their strengths. What do you think, Sci-Fi? What are we going to see this evening?
It's been a big pattern in at least the casts that the games that I've casted, where the team that is more friends with each other tends to win over skill, and there's this huge discrepancy even with SRs changing up. Even if you're facing a team that are higher SR on average than you, if you are friends and you're having fun, you're not going to tilt as much, you're not going to make misplays, you're going to rely on each other better, and your synergy is going to be a lot better because you know the other player not just as a teammate but as a friend. And so it definitely helps out in these small tournaments.
Hell yeah, man. I'm really looking forward to this game. And it looks like our first map's going to be Hanamura. So what do you think we might expect to see? I know Josh mentioned some goats and dive, but what are some pretty popular compositions that might come through on Hanamura?
I'm definitely expecting the May. We've seen the May a bunch of different map. Any team basically plays it, so this is it's really standard here. We also like to see a bunch of like double sniper on the defense, but we're definitely going to see Mei on either attack or defense. We don't see a lot of dive comp. Dive referring to Winston Diva, the tank lineup. We see like it's almost 99% Reinhardt and Zarya.
Mhm.
So we're looking for some big chunky boys in the front and like Icy Girl in the back, maybe some snipers. We'll see. Supports are super variable in this map, and yeah, we're going to be getting into it right now.
So you mentioned Mei, and what's so great about Mei? What can we see? Why would you choose to run Mei on this map particularly?
Well, the thing about Mei on this defense, especially on point one, is that the Mei wall completely blocks the doorway to the first point. These like first entryway, these big dragon doorway, completely blocks that wall for 6 seconds, leading to like huge stalling, and you're slowing down these fights, making sniping a lot easier as well.
Cool. I've also seen some really great strategies where Mei walls off like one or two people, and then you completely decimate them, and then the team is forced to regroup. So I'm hoping to see some really cool strategies like that. We're about to see what these teams are picking. All right, these are some interesting compositions. Chase, tell me some interesting stuff about these heroes.
Whoa, whoa, Nelly. Well, coming up. Wow, this is crazy. The Church of XQC has something. I was talking about dive. It looks like they're going to go into something akin to dive, just without the diva, and they're going to be playing this triple DPS comp with Orisa and Bastion trying to teleport onto the payload or teleport onto the high ground and get a huge advantage from there. This, to be honest, might work out because Gunther's Goons are playing this triple tank composition with Roadhog that might be able to get a pick, but BMO is going to be playing the Mei like I was talking about, and they're playing double main supports with Moira and Ana. So there's not a lot of like long range damage coming out from Gunther's Goons. Church of XQC might be able to take this.
Well, it looks like they're already diving onto point, and you were talking about the attack far too early. They debated you. The switch up has happened, and now we've got Diva trying to get onto point with the rest of her team, but she's having a little trouble. Big anti-nade comes through, but they're not capitalizing on it. Mei doing a lot of work here with this freezing, but Turtles manages to get the first pick off onto the mine. Unfortunately, that's really going to do not great things for their attack. It does seem to be fairly evened out until BMO decides to just absolutely annihilate. This Mei is a scary pick.
Yeah, the longer these fights go on, the longer that Mei's going to be valued. That's slow, eventually leading to a complete stun that Mei can easily headshot you with, and that's basically what happened. The dive comp was slowed down because of the Mei wall, and Mei was able to get a freeze off onto the Diva to demech her. Ant Skibs on the Widow is being uncontested, though, so we might see a ton of snipes come out, but the dive's coming in from Gunther's Goons here.
Yep, Diva, Winston, and Genji have made their way to point. They're not on the point just yet. They're doing a little bit of poke here, waiting for their cooldowns to come back so that they can engage properly. And then Winston retreats. I think he realizes he's all alone there. He's got no healing. Now the rest of the team is retreating. Chase, it seems to me like they're staggering in here. What thoughts do you have on the way that they're setting up these attacks?
Well, they're being very methodical with it, and I think they're managing ults. I think they're waiting for Ana's Nano Boost to just come in. It just came in, and I think we're going to see the Nano Blade come out right off of the bat with the Genji and the Ana ultimates.
Ooh, a nice initial pick off from Turtles. Very well played. Two already down. xQc team doing so well here at the moment. Nice blizzard coming through, but it doesn't look like it's going to get too much value. The Reinhardt is still anti-naded, but he was nano boosted. He manages to get 2 kills, one of them being the demech, but it is not going to be enough as he does go down to the Ana, and just like that, point has been captured.
Yep, and I was looking at it's the entire time and ignoring everyone else on either team except for the Genji and the Ana, because that was the ultimate combo that Gunther's Goons were looking for. She is going to reset because you don't want to be playing Baby Diva into this attack, and they're going to have 5.5 minutes on the clock. Not bad of a time at all, but a bunch of ults coming out from Gunther's Goons here. Church of XQC needs to be very careful coming to this next push.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's looking quite difficult for them. They've got that Primal Rage, which can be really useful for pushing people off the point. They've got the Self-Destruct, which is great for creating some space. But coming up to a counter Self-Destruct, a Coalescence, there isn't really anything that Gunther's Goon Squad really have to counter these ultimates, but it looks like we're going straight into yet another dive, another great anti-nade coming through. The Coalescence does come through, keeping the team alive. Self-Destruct comes through, but it's at a really odd angle. It's not going to get anything, and yeah, Church of xQc already been shut down, but a great pick-off onto that Moira. Still going to be forced to retreat by the Diva because the fight has definitely lost. It's time to regroup.
Yep, and not too bad of a loss for Church of xQc. They did use the Diva self-destruct, and Skips is going to get a pick-off. Chi is going to get staggered, though, so that's going to be the end of that push. They're going to wait for him to come back. But not too many ults being used, and we did see a dry push coming out from Church of xQc. 80% on either the Ana Nano Boost and the Genji Dragon Blade, so we'll see that in the next upcoming fight, and that's Church of xQc's really their win condition. The bomb really does. The primal won't matter too much, and the infrasight definitely won't matter when there's a Genji flying at you with the nano boost.
And of course, Gunther's Goons don't have anything to counter that nano boosted Genji. They haven't got a Transcendence, they haven't got a beat, and immediately Antskips gets a great pick off onto the Moira. This is the opportunity. The dive will come through. They're jumping onto the point already. Nano boosted Mei comes through. That's pretty spicy. And the nano boosted Genji comes in after the blizzard. Oh, unfortunate. He does immediately get taken out, frozen in place. But it looks like Gunther's Goon's doing quite well here. Oh, the Primal Rage comes out, and that's an interesting choice. The fight was basically lost, but the Primal Rage comes out anyway, trying to create some kind of a distraction on the point. But it looks like he is going to back out.
Yeah, not too confident in Saris's Primal Rage there. Ultimately, if you want to reset, and every time I talk about Church of xQc, and was crazy pickoffs onto these poor members of Gunther's Goons here. Turtles
another early pick-off from Turtles. Very well played there with that Stormbow, taking out one of the tanks. That can be huge. Now they've got a beat for Engage, followed very closely by an Earth Shadow. So that was a very well-timed beat. They do have an opportunity here to steamroll through. Turtles getting so many picks here, creating so much space for his team. The Winston Bubble keeping them a little bit protected. This Ana is being bullied. Self-destruct comes through, but will it manage to get anything? Oh, manages to take out the Lucio. That's not what you want, but a counter self-destruct will likely, not even getting the chance to take down the Roadhog, as Antskips manages to take out two with some spicy, well-placed headshots. Saris will go down to the Reinhardt, but it doesn't really matter because Antskips has got free reign in this backline, continuously clicking on heads while we have Turtles on the point, putting tons of damage into tanks with his Stormbow, but he will eventually go down. A nice anti-nade onto Roadhog. He can't heal, and he gets taken down quite quick, sharp. Moira still on point, trying to create some sort of a distraction here, but also gets taken down. BMO is back though, and he's ready with his Ice Blaster. He's freezing everybody on the point here, creating a lot of chaos, but still somehow Chia has managed to survive this long. The Lucio will go down. Chia is the last person arrived, gets the nano boost just as being demeched, just a split second too late, and it looks like Gunther's Goon will be able to take this point back. Phew.
What a long and drawn-out fight. That was a tongue twister of a fight. Notable engages was the, sadly, Turtles on the Genji being frozen through the blizzard from BMO and was taken down even though he was nano boosted. We thought the fight ended there, but then Ant getting some crazy picks, just like that one. And I'm going to go in on this engage. This is another fight. I'm just going to stop talking.
These early pickups from Antskips have been absolutely vital to these attacks from Church of xQc, but unfortunately they haven't been able to capitalize on it too much. They do have one pick. They're almost at two. If Antskips and Turtle can keep getting the same pickoffs that they have been getting. Here comes the Diva self-destruct, but a beautiful Mei wall will protect most of the team. Unfortunately, Winston will still go down. Here's a beautiful Blizzard from the Mei, but it's unfortunate because a Dragon Strike will take out a lot of the team. Coalescence comes through, trying to heal the team. It doesn't help much against an anti-nade. The anti-nade will eventually expire, and the Coalescence will keep Roadhog alive. The fight is still brawling it out on point. Chia is alone, but it looks like they're going for a regroup. Unfortunately, Chia does get demeched. Turtles goes down as well, and once again, they are forced to regroup so close to a second tick, but unfortunately, they just could not get it in the end.
Yeah, and just really unlucky engages coming out from every time I talk, xQc. Really unlucky engages coming out from Church of xQc here. Every time they're able to get a pick on, the spawn advantages are just way too big. Church of xQc just aren't killing them fast enough, and xQc is going to go down. 5 seconds left on the clock. Overtime's going to pop right here.
But yet they're still managing to stall this out for as long as they possibly can. The anti-nade, or rather the nano boost, will come on to Cyrus. It has already expired and he goes down. The overtime is ticking away. Can someone touch? No, I don't believe they can.
Just completely unlucky coming out from Church of xQc. So many things leading to the fact that they couldn't cap. The spawns really coming in off of the side of Gunther's Goons here, and they really coordinated themselves with trying to get onto the point in an orderly fashion that wouldn't lead to them dying and just feeding indiscriminately because of xQc's positioning here.
Well, compositionally, do you think that they could have made some kind of swap-ups to help them better achieve their goal of, getting onto the second point?
Yeah, I definitely feel like the Genji pick, even though we were talking about it being a win condition, it just wasn't doing enough, and Turtles on the Genji just ended up getting frozen in that second Dragon Blade that we saw that was being nano boosted. Just completely unlucky. He swapped onto the Hanzo, but it just wasn't doing enough, and the kills just weren't coming out. And xQc was getting off these picks, and Turtles just wasn't able to follow up on the tanks and the supports from Gunther's Goons. Now, interesting composition coming out from...
Go ahead.
Interesting composition coming out from Church of xQc here. We are going to see a bit of the Goats composition run with Mei. However, it's going to be the Ana instead of a Zenyatta to supplement the secondary tanks. No Zarya here, and we have a bit of a pause as one of the players has disconnected suddenly.
Oops, that is unfortunate. Well, the player himself did call out for the pause, so I think it's likely that there was maybe like a ping spike or something. Yeah, internet issues, probably going to reset the router. Unfortunately, that is one of the dangers of online gaming. You don't have these problems in conventional sports, I'll tell you that.
Yep, and this just happens sometimes. We had this in a game yesterday. It's something simple that happens. It looks like xQc is back, so the game should be played out normally. They're all in spawn, so this shouldn't affect it at all. And what happens is the client will start and will pause automatically by detecting a ping issue. So it protects the players and their quality of their game by stopping the game before the person actually disconnects, which is very good.
And what can you tell me about what it looks like this attack may be? Do you think they'll stick on that Moira or the Ana, or do you think we might see a little bit of swap up there? They are running that Pharah. Yeah,
I'm not a big fan of any support composition that doesn't involve Mercy with Pharah. It doesn't feel completely synergistic, especially Ana in particular. Just you're not going to be able to snipe your Ana's heals, and the whole thing is if you're looking up as Ana to try and heal your Pharah, you're not looking at the rest of your team and their positioning. And as a Mercy, what you can do is you have free reign and you have this huge sky pocket to escape to as a Mercy, so it's a defense mechanism, but it's also offensive in that you can swoop down and help your allies that are below you. So it's just the whole thing that, Ana doesn't fly, If Ana could fly, we'd see some cool snipes,
If Ana could fly, that would be possibly the scariest thing in this entire game.
So yeah, I didn't want to talk too much about attack comps, but BMO's going to be swapping off to the McCree possibly, and I do like this a little bit better. It seems like the Gunther's Goons are going to go for something like a pick comp with their triple tanks here. The Roadhog and the McCree have decent synergy in stunning and hooking someone in, and so they're trying to go for something like Shield Break as well. They just don't have a Zarya for some combo potential.
Well, we see the first engage, and there goes that Mei wall just to, stall them out a little bit. And the May wall goes down, and it seems like they didn't really use it as effectively as they could have. Didn't block anybody off to create some space. And the first pick-off will come from ADDL, getting a nice Sonic Blast. But a huge anti-nade will really help to supplement all of those kills, and the entirety of that team will go down quite quickly.
Wow, yeah, a huge anti-nade coming from Diamond Bolt here, able to take that immediately. And the nice pick-off by Adel on BMO's McCree here. BMO's going to be swapping onto the Pharah. Like I said, there's no mercy to be had, so Pharah's going to be a little hindered here and not going to be able to do as much damage. But the whole thing about Church of xQc is they do have Brig, which is very ineffective against Pharah.
And that is exactly what I was talking about. The wall comes up, the whole of xQc, or rather Church of xQc, completely just piles onto whoever was trapped inside the choke, and that's it. That completely shuts down their push. You've got to be careful for those May walls. You've got to know that they're coming.
Yep, and a bit of ult discrepancy as Diamond Bolt takes down BMO. Like we were talking about with heals and being able to heal Pharah, just not as reliable as a Mercy would be. Moira and Ana being a lot of ults coming out from the side of Church of xQc. They need to use them now, or they're going to be discrepant on these ultimates if they give Gunther's Goons a chance to try and push in here.
The problem is, of course, that they're getting picked off one by one. They're not engaging properly. BMO is coming around for a little bit of a flank, but will get chased down by Cheer. Not sure if that's going to create too much any problems. We've got a 5v5 happening here in the choke, and there's still the Pharah Diva battle going on the high ground, and still there's been no attempt to actually engage from Gunther's Goons. This is the moment for them to push in. They're not taking this opportunity. They're waiting for something magical to happen in the back line, and unfortunately the magical thing that happened was their Pharah got picked off. Self-destruct will come through, but so many walls to block it, it doesn't matter. Another huge anti-nade followed by a blizzard, and Church of xQc will continue to hold on this first choke point.
Yeah, we were watching that fight, and 11 ults were ready, and not a lot of them even pressed now. Diamond Bolt with that huge biotic rain onto the entire enemy team and just seal that fate almost immediately. The walls coming in have been really potent lately. That blizzard not so much, but the walls have been very effective. And I hope we're going to see a BMO barrage with the Pharah soon. There's only a minute left on the clock for Gunther's Goons.
BMO's going to have to be careful, because being stationary in the middle of a barrage, very easy to get slept. He's going to need to try and find a way to get around. Oh, well played there, managing to dodge that wall, but BMO gets taken down by the Ana. You hate to see it. Unfortunately, they don't have time for the regroup. They are going in straight away. Yet another blizzard coming through from this May. Absolutely ridiculous. Turtle's ult charge is really one to be commended. Another huge anti-nade coming through, but it doesn't look like there will be any follow-up. Josh alone on point will get completely taken down. Now we've got the whole hog that came through as well. A lot of ultimates being used here. They were trying their best to get onto this point, but unfortunately to no avail, and it looks like this may just be a full hold on first point Hanamura.
Yeah, they're going really aggressive on the end, stunning the mine right as he was about to use his Earth Shatter. There's a couple of people on the points, but I think they're going to be dispatched almost immediately. Just a lot of staggers all over the board from Gunther's Goons here.
Yeah, unfortunately, their compositional picks were not optimal, and Church of xQc took that quite handily. They only swapped off onto the Mercy when there was about 20 seconds left on the clock, because, as you said, they realized BMO was getting hard counted by that Ana. Finally, they did figure it out, but by then it was just too little, too late. They were not able to deal with this May.
Yeah, and the Roadhog not really showing up at all. Not a lot of hooks, and just not a lot of space to be able to hook and get some picks off. We saw the McCree come out as well, but that was dispatched almost immediately by Adel's Lucio that got a couple of really nice headshots, and just not a lot of success coming out from Gunther's Goons. Church of xQc is going to go up 1-0 in this series.
Well, looks like our next map is going to be Ilios. I am such a fan of Ilios. Sci-Fi, tell us, what can we possibly expect to see? And what do Gunther's Goons need to do to try and turn this around?
Well, I really like Ilios as well. It's a diverse map with several different compositions that you can run on it. And I think that what Gunther's Goons really need to do is they need to swap it up, use the fact that their players are so flexible, maybe flex onto some other tanks, maybe some standard tanks would be nice, because we haven't seen anything very standard of them. The Roadhog, we saw the Roadhog, Rhine, and Diva, but the whole thing about those heroes is that if you're not using them to their advantage, you're not using them for specific picks or defensively for the like shield, like a shield and hook kind of combo. They're very high health heroes, so they're like ult batteries. Especially Roadhog in particular. He's like a coin flip hero, especially when it comes to skill. If you do not get that hook, you are 600 HP worth of ult just for the enemy team to just devour.
I like that. That's actually a really good way of describing it. Roadhog, as we know, is not very strong in the meta at the moment, so it has been very surprising seeing him being picked up on quite a few occasions. It's not just in this game. I've been seeing it a lot recently in Open Vision as well. He's really being picked up a lot more often. Yes, he did recently have a little bit of a buff, but I don't feel like it's warranted the amount of playtime that he's receiving, especially when we do have these established compositions, which neither of these teams seem to be playing. We're not seeing any of these established comps here. We're not seeing Dive, we're not seeing classic goats, we're not even seeing Doom Sombra. It's been kind of a mishmash of heroes. What do you think we can glean from that?
I think it's just the fact that these players are friends and they're not looking for like a really competitive tournament. Every team is looking to win, but their motivations might be a little different. They're definitely not looking for something super standard. We saw like a slight goats variant that worked fairly well for Church of xQc with the Brig and the May instead of a Diva, but we didn't see a Zarya come out from them either, and it just looks like these players are going to play to their strengths. They're not going to play what is necessarily good and 100% synergistic, but they're going to play something that they're familiar with. And I think for a lot of people, especially at this SR range where it's either from silver to like masters, they're going to be playing less of Zarya and these like really skill based heroes like hit scans, and they're going to be playing more projectiles like the Pharah that we saw, more Brig, more Hog, more Diva, so to speak.
Yeah, could be. And well, obviously on well, we can more or less figure out what to expect there. Probably a lot of boop compositions. What do you think we might see on some of the other maps of Ilios?
Well, I really like on Lighthouse. I really like to see Winston because the Primal Rage does get a ton of value off of the point. One of my favorite plays of the game is to see like a Winston booping a ton of people just straight off the point from the enemy team. As for Ruins, it's sort of a mishmash because a lot of people like to play Pharah, and then Pharah is countered by Widow, but then Widow might be countered by a dive composition, and then, of course, something like Goats and Reinhardt Zarya is definitely better into dive. So there's this huge, like, kind of chain of tanks and, like, DPSs that are very good in Ruins, and I can see that going either way. I have almost nothing to glean from the past map that I can actually translate to.
Right, well, it looks like we are ready and we're going to be moving straight into this next map, and I'm really excited to see what these teams are going to bring out for us. It's been fairly evenly matched, this more so when Gunther's Goons were on the attack, or rather Church of xQc, when they were on the attack, it was somewhat fairly matched, and then when the roles were reversed and they were on defense, they showed a very, very strong defense. Yeah, we are finally on Ruins, and as you say, this is a very Widow favored map, but so much can happen. There are so many possible counter picks and counter plays. I don't know. It feels to me like these teams might not run that Widow, except for maybe for Anskip, because we've seen his Widow and it was absolutely nutty. So do you think that possibly Gunther's Goons are going to be expecting that? They might counterpick to it?
I think they definitely might. They might go for something akin to Goats with the Brig and just try and man mode their way into the point using force. It definitely looks like they're disrespecting the pick with the Farah composition here, and I do like to see the Mercy. Casual Lobster is a-okay to play Mercy with BMO's Farah here, but on the other hand, I really hope this is we're going to see a change up here because Bastion Sim with Hanzo. Triple nope, and Skips is going to play his trusty Widow, and BMO's going to have his work cut out for him. He's really going to need to use these pillars to his advantage, or he's going to get sniped down almost immediately.
Double sniper without a mercy. Double sniper without a mercy is that's quite a controversial compositional choice. I'm not sure that I 100% agree with it, but we'll see how it works out for them. The brawl is already managing to start on point here. It's just a little bit of poke right now, and as you said, BMO immediately going down to Anskibs. They really should have expected that. It is now a 6v5 with an anti-nade coming out onto the Moira. Both supports, in fact, anti-naded and Cheer, capitalizing on that, immediately going for the backline. Completely uncontested because there really is no one to fight, and now it's just the tanks left with no healers, and this is a pretty easy fight for them to take.
Yep, and I was talking, they're going to need to get Josh off at that point in order to cap, of course, but I was just talking to you about the unsynergistic tanks. The mine's going to swap off onto the Winston here instead of the Rhine. Josh is going to play Zarya. I'm a little skeptical as to see what that would do. I definitely agree with the D.Va, and I feel like that would have been the better pick here because of the defense matrix being able to eat out the sniper bullets of Anskibs, but there's a huge ult discrepancy on the side of Gunther's Goons. They have a lot to play with here, and Turtle's getting a pick off almost immediately.
Well, they managed to take each other out. The res does come through, though, evening it out, and then, of course, another pick will come through from Diamond Bolt, which will bring it right back down to a advantage. But shame, poor Anskibs is being absolutely bullied in the back line here. Does eventually manage to get taken down, and it's just the mine alone on point at the moment. The rest of his team will eventually come, and Coalescence will come out to try and keep the rest of his team alive. D.Va Bomb comes through. Will it get any value? Oh, it manages to take out the mine. Unlucky. And immediately we see a huge advantage here for the Church of xQc, and it looks like it might just be a little bit of cleanup. However, Josh, really fully charged, does go down. Amazing, in fact, that he managed to get so much charge when xQc or Church of xQc are running this double sniper composition.
Yeah, I'm really a big fan of this double sniper composition, especially because they haven't really been contested by Josh on the D.Va, who hasn't been very active in terms of getting his or pressuring out the snipers. Really, he has accrued 59% of that ult onto the Graviton Surge here, but it's just not going to be doing as much as a D.Va would in taking out these bullets, and that's what you really need to do as a team if you're even just trying to get onto this point.
The other thing to remember, of course, with the Zarya is, yes, you can get that Graviton Surge fairly quickly, but once you actually get the Graviton, two of the players are not even going to be on the point when it happens. Anna shouldn't be in the brawl either. She should be a little bit to the side. So realistically, you should only get a maximum of 3 people, maybe. So you're absolutely right that the D.Va pick would have been a lot better. And I'm still a little skeptical about there's no mercy for the double sniper composition. Mercy damage boost can be so potent, but the whole hog will come through straight away. D.Va flies away instead of trying to eat it, and unfortunately, Saris will go down because of it. It's even trades now, pretty even out on the point, but Bob will come out and create an extra man on the point here and help to demake that baby D.Va and get her down. I'm not sure how I feel about that Bob coming out, though. I felt like it was a little bit late on the draw.
Well, he did something. That's what we can say.
He did do something.
And bunch of ults coming out off of the side of Church of xQc over here. 5 ults, in fact, on the side. The Infrasite's going to come out, and I think we're going to see just like classic dive up onto Same and BMO, the supports.
Turtles.
With the pick already.
A massive initial pick, and that is absolutely great. Now we're seeing the Grav Dragon come through, as well as a self-destruct. That's a lot of ultimates to invest for only 2 kills. They do manage to get yet another kill with Lucio's boop, and once again this will swing the fight back in their favor. I suppose they realized they didn't need to worry too much about over-investing ultimates because it is at 95%, and they only need to win possibly 1 fight. If they can just push a little bit more forward, yep, that's it.
Yeah, they boop Josh off with the D.Va. movement there, and the boop coming from Adel was able to take out the Ashe, and that's going to be round 1 of this of Ilios here. We're going to go to Well, which is my
Hell
personal
yeah.
favorite map. Yeah, I'd really like to see where. I hope we're going to be able to see both the Reeses coming out. We might get to see a Roadhog that Darkstorm was really familiar with. Now, near the end of that fight, I actually just realized that Gunther's Goons were playing quad tank composition. Bit unusual on the side because they were only running one healer in that Moira, and so Casual Lobster just had so much pressure to heal, and it looks like we're going to be seeing the Pharah come out from Anskibs. No more snipers.
Yeah, yet another very interesting composition coming out from both of these teams at the moment, but maybe they'll be able to make it work for them. BMO now running that Soldier, going to be trying to get down that Pharah as quickly as possible. Oh, but the Chia with the early D-Mech is unfortunate. He was all alone on that high ground with no backup, and he's going to be the first to go down most likely. Manages to get the remake. That's not what you want to see. Target prioritization there, not great. Chia definitely should have died, but now we're seeing yet another pause request come through. Shame, more internet issues.
Yeah, it looks like Turtles has had a bit of an issue with his ping lately, so we're going to be pausing for a second while he comes back.
So overall, what do you think of these compositions, the way that they've been made up, and the heroes that they're choosing to play?
Well, I'm not too big of a fan for. Yeah, and Skibbs says in chat that it isn't him this time, but both the DPS is off the side of Gunther's Goons having issues. It's a bit of a feels bad. Crazy picks in terms of the DPS things that we're seeing. We're seeing the Genji Soldier, which are like hit scan and then projectile, whereas we're seeing the Pharah and the Hanzo come out, which essentially is sort of the same thing. It's just a bit odd that we're seeing like 4 different DPS heroes and none of the same. Like it's kind of cool that these players have their own pocket picks that they're leading to, and they're not even the same hero. You know, we're not seeing Widow duels. We're seeing like completely different heroes match up against each other. And like overall in Overwatch, that's really like what you like to see.
We love seeing these interesting heroes coming through that aren't necessarily meta dependent, especially with so many people that have been unhappy with the meta recently. So it's nice to see just a little bit of a swap up here. We are back in game, of course, and Pharah putting a ton of projectiles into the backline, but it's Diamond Bolt that I'd like to just point out with massive ult charge at the moment. We're going to have a nano boost any second, and that's going to be quite huge. Unfortunately, Turtles with that DC will have lost all of his ultimate charge, and that's really not what you like to see. Nano boost will come through onto the D.Va. Oh, the big sleep! Well played. Now we've got the anti onto Josh. Josh does manage to make it back to the rest of his team. Unfortunately, that anti, or rather the nano boost, was completely useless due completely to that sleep. Well played to the Ana there, managing to take it down. Self-destruct will come through and get absolutely no value. It was very easy for them to get out of the way, but oh, the nano blade comes through. He got slept but got woken up, and at the same time we've got Tac Visor coming through. Josh is anti-nated at the moment, and it didn't matter. Nobody put any damage into him while he was causing havoc in the back line. We see the race coming through onto the Pharah. That's going to be huge. Got an opportunity here to keep doing a lot of damage, and yes, it does look like Gunthers are going to be able to flip this point for the first time.
Yeah, that was both teams at 0%, so we got quite a bit of a match for you here. I want to give a small MVP award to Darkstorm on the Ana, who managed to sleep 2 essential targets and really going crazy in that fight. Diamond Bolt as well, sleeping the nano-bladed Genji and also Casual Lobster. They're just, both the Anas are doing so much work when it comes to like sleeping nano-boosted targets. It's like they have magnets on their darts.
And here we're going for yet another engage, this time on the other side of the point. The Dragon Strike will come through. Oh, does manage to get Darkstorm. No, that is unlucky. And of course, Anscope managing to take down that Orisa as well. Looks like this fight is going to be heavily in the favor of Church of XQC. Quite a dominant display here, but they did manage to burn an ult or two in the process.
Yeah, very dominant display. The bionic grenade we thought was going to do a lot of work, and then Same had popped the sound barrier there that almost saved the team. However, it just wasn't enough because the Dragon Strike and the Barrage were coming out. It's like Church of XQC were just saying, you know what? They committed one thing, let's just give them everything we have, and it worked out for them. 20% left on the clock, and we're going to see the Supercharger come out from Church of XQC here.
BMO has swapped onto this Widowmaker. The soldier was not working out for him. Oh, and there we go. Beautiful headshot onto Anskips. This is the opportunity that they need. But they do allow the raise to go off, unfortunately, so he's back in action. Turtle's taken out BMO. And now Farah has all the opportunity in the world to create as much chaos as he wants to. Josh will take down Turtles, though, so it is somewhat evened out now. And it looks like very split up here. Oh, here comes the self-destruct. Will it get any value? Yes, does manage to take down Darkstorm. Darkstorm realized there was nowhere he could go. Throws in that anti-nade to try and just help his team before he goes, and it seems like he may have done just that. The self-destruct, counter self-destruct comes through, managing to take down Cyrus, and again, Gunther's Goon squad, Goons, jeez, will manage to flip the point back.
You would think that Goon squads would be available for the Church of XQC as well, huh? So both teams are goons.
Sci-fi.
I apologize to every XQC viewer ever.
Oh, and Skips with a beautiful pick-off onto his counter. That is exactly what you love to see. Unfortunately, Bimo not managing to get too much value. The beat will drop. Oh, beautiful boop there from Antskibbs. I mean, poor Gunther's Goons, man. They just can't catch a break here.
Yeah, and you deserve some ground Farah for your work. And Skips doing a ton of work. That boop on the immediate, and then the kill onto Darkstorm, just like at the very beginning of the fight, sealing that out for Gunther's for Church of XQC here. Both teams running at 80%, and Skips is going to go down, but he's going to get rezzed up here.
Nice raise from that Mercy, well played, but now of course Mercy doesn't have that raise, and yeah, they are fully aware of that. Oh, and here comes yet another Dragon Strike. Oh wow, the Orisa goes down to the boosters. That is unfortunate. Bimo takes out Antskibbs mid-ultimate, but Antskibbs is still able to take down the Orisa. Nice big anti-nade comes through, but there's no one really to follow up on it. We've just got Turtle here in the back line on that Hanzo, trying to put some damage in, but one man alone can't do too much against all these people that are plowing damage into him. It looks like Gunther's Goon may be able to flip this around. Turtle's still contesting, gets taken down by Bimo, but it's alright because as he gets taken down, the Orisa arrives. We see the Genji coming out there with his blade, but doesn't manage to get anything with a quick headshot from Turtles. A self-destruct came through with nothing, and it looks like, yes, Church of XQC will manage to take this point as well. The score is 2-0.
Wow. Amazing plays coming out. I don't know if you saw that, and I want to double check just to make sure that that actually just happened. Yes, he did.
What exactly?
Oh my god. So we saw 2 Dragon Strikes come out from Turtles on the Hanzo, and Casual Lobster had eaten both of them at the start and at the end of their fight.
Wow.
Yeah, so huge plays coming out from Casual Lobster here. That was incredible. Even though they lost the match 2-0, that is incredible. Just the dedication to eating those ults was awesome, and great mechanics in that. Just looking
All
for
right.
them.
Well, that is it for this game, guys. Unfortunately, it is a best of 3, first to 2. So Church of XQC will take this match. Unfortunately, we don't have a post-match interview for you, but I hope that you all enjoyed it. Sci-Fi myself, I know I had a lot of fun. I hope Sci-Fi had fun.
Yeah, that was great. GG's to both teams. You guys both put on a really good show, and we loved casting for you.
Yeah, that was a really tight game. It could have gone either way. So GG's to both of you, and of course a huge GG to Church of XQC. Thank you everybody for tuning in and watching with us. This has been fantastic. Once again, I have been Nari Mizuki with my co-caster Sci-Fight. Please guys do tune in tomorrow. We have more Watchers Brawl for you starting at 7 p.m. Join us. It's going to be great, and have a great evening.